Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something super powerful, something that I have found has changed my own life dramatically. And as I act on this, it has helped me draw closer to the life of my dreams. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about taking inspired or intuitive action. Well, what is that, you say? Let's dive into it. All right, so what is inspired or intuitive action? What exactly does that do in our lives? Well, inspired or intuitive action is when you feel this gut instinct, something that draws you to want to act to do something. That maybe there's an opportunity presented to you, or maybe there's a download in your mind of an idea that you just feel drawn to accomplish. And so, for an example, maybe someone out there decided that, hey, you know what? I'm going to reach out to somebody that I haven't heard from in a long time, and I just want to see how they're doing. Well, where did that idea come from? And you decided to do that because it was an inspired action. You felt inspired to act on it. You felt inspired to text this person because honestly, there's probably somebody out there that needed to hear from you, that needed to hear your voice, that needed to hear what you had to say. Maybe they're in a tough situation, and that download was exactly the right timing for that person to hear from what you might have to offer to help them out. Or it could be maybe there's a job. Of all the listings that you've been looking through online or jobs you've heard about, this one job stuck out to you. This one job that for some reason it felt right. You felt drawn to it and you felt like, you know what, I'm going to apply for that job. And then as you're applying for the job, it just feels right. You can kind of see yourself in that role. Another example, and this kind of happened to me, and it was amazing how this took place. When I go to the gym, unfortunately, I'm a bit of a creature of habit with the locker that I like to use in the locker room. But one day I decided to just change it up. And as soon as I walked in, I went to the middle aisle instead of the first aisle, and I put my stuff away. When I was done with my workout, I came back out. And when I was at the locker, sure enough, there was somebody I knew from way back in the day, this gentleman that I had gone to high school with. What was really interesting about that is as we caught up and we started talking, come to find out that he had something that he could provide to me that was going to help me with my personal and professional career out of absolutely nowhere. Something that I had been looking for. In that moment, I realized that the synchronicity was just too perfect. The one time I decided to move my locker and choose a different one for the day is the same exact timing that not only do I come in after my workout, but he was coming in to start his. And he was just 2 lockers away and we saw each other. You know, some of you might say coincidence, but what took place that day was just so perfect for something that I needed so badly, with guidance and a direction and knowledge to help me improve on a path. And what was even crazier is that as he was talking to me, I had something that could help him with his personal relationship status. It was interesting that the two of us were just joined at that one moment in time to collaborate on how to help each other improve each other's lives with that perfect timing, God's perfect timing. And that's just one example. I'm sure many of you out there, if I ask you, think about a time where something just seemed so perfect. The right person came along, or the right opportunity came along, or the right resource came along, or the right knowledge got downloaded to you, or, whatever it may be. Put it in the comments. Like, when was a time that the synchronicity was just so perfect? And what's interesting to me is, was that inspired action? Yes, because I felt inspired to go to a different spot in that locker room. The inspired action doesn't mean that you're just acting on something that is out of the norm. It could just be you decide to even take a different route to work. Come to find out, as you keep taking that different route, you find that there is something along that route that you collide with, that you actually found that is going to help you toward the next step in your life, whatever that may look like. We've all had this happen, and we just never really put it together. The fact that if I just take that intuitive action, if I take that gut instinct that I'm supposed to do something and actually work toward it or act on it, who knows what is possible? Because God does not make mistakes. He has his own perfect timing when it comes to how he wants us to be in our life. We have to learn things. We have to be educated on things. We might want to be a CEO, but there's obstacles and different resources and different things that we need in order to have the tools and the emotional endurance, the right people around us, be in the right state of mind, whatever it may be, to be at that point. And he does not make mistakes. Psalms 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. God knows the plan, and He provides us everything that we need as long as we have the faith to act on it. And that is where inspired action can take a downfall, is if you don't take that inspired action. What if you decide not to actually go with that gut instinct? What if I decided not to go and change my locker that day and stay in the same, go to the same locker that I usually go to, but I felt something that was right. I felt the flow leading me to do something different. And it was so magnetic that it drew me away from my normal routine in order to be right at the perfect timing to meet that person. See, when you don't act, you will know that you were supposed to take inspired action. Do you know why? Because the rest of the day you'll be thinking about it, and you'll keep thinking and looking back. You're like, I wonder if I did that, what would have happened? Or you'll be upset with yourself because you knew that you were supposed to do it, and you'd be like, you know what? I wish I did that. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I take advantage of that situation? It was perfect. It was right there. And I decided not to. Our brains are constantly going to try to keep us safe. Naturally, what our brains do is they try to keep everything status quo. Our brains don't want us to do anything outside of the comfort zone, or anything that is stressful, or anything that would lead us into harm. So it tries to keep us safe, and safe is keeping status quo, maintaining exactly where you are and keeping everything exactly the way it is. Problem with that is that when you don't go outside your comfort zone, you hear this a lot, progress is made outside the comfort zone. When you don't go out your comfort zone, what can you expect? You're going to stay comfortable. And comfortable is exactly where you are. That inspired action is so necessary because it's also changing your habits and routine, and it's rewiring your brain to say, you know what, brain, you can try to keep me safe. And I appreciate it. And I identify these thoughts, but you know what? Not today. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do something that is outside my comfort zone, something I'm scared of, but I have faith that God is going to work it all out if I just take this inspired action with faith. And that's the other thing. I mean, faith is huge. And I've talked about it in a previous video that I've done. Having faith is one of the biggest things you need in order to overcome the fear and have confidence that whatever it is that you take action toward, you are ultimately going to make it work. Or could you fail? Yes, there's absolutely a possibility. But here's the thing. When you look at every failure in life, it's only a failure, and it's only something that is going to hold you back if you don't learn anything from those failures. Most of us, our failures are what actually made us improve. Our challenges in life, the obstacles that we face, are the reasons that we've grown and become better, because we've had to overcome those adversities. Don't stop yourself from taking an inspired action towards something that feels right, something that you're motivated to do. Because if you don't do it, you're not going to have that personal growth. You're not going to have that development that you need to become the person you need to be to achieve the dreams that you want in your life. That person that plays it safe is always going to stay at the same level. And what you need is to become someone different. You need to take that action that is going to lead you to becoming the person that you need to be, more confident, more strong, more faithful, more reliant on the idea that no matter what it is you do, it's all going to work out no matter what. And those are the thoughts you need to have, that confidence. So another example, and this is something that was huge for me, and it just came out of absolutely nowhere, and it was really amazing. I have a projector that I put outside during football season. And I like to be outside. It's nice, crisp, and cool. And I live in Florida, so I'm taking advantage of it, because once it gets hot, it's over with. And it's hot for like 8 months and humid and nasty. And anyway. And so I was out front and I had the projector on and I'm watching football. And when I was a child, me and my little brother, we had this squirrel. His name was Earl. He had no tail. And my brother couldn't say squirrel, so we called squirrels Earls. And so we called this particular squirrel Earl. And we used to put peanuts in the house. We used to leave the back door open and put peanuts in the house. And Earl used to come into the house, and little by little, he would grab peanuts, run away, but we would keep moving them closer into the house until he would just get so close to us that he started feeling comfortable with us, that if we had the door open, he would just come in and out as he pleased. He's the cutest little thing in the world. Well, the funny part is we also had a blue jay at that time that would be in the backyard, and it was not scared of us. And so I named it, I can't remember if I named it, maybe it was my brother. One of us named it Blue. Anyway, so we had Earl and Blue. Well, as later on in life, as I'm watching this football game outside, and I'm watching on the projector, there's this huge grand oak tree that I have in the front yard. And there were these squirrels that were running around chasing each other. And it got me thinking about Earl. And then I started thinking about Blue. And then I started thinking about that oak tree that was a huge part, of my life when I was growing up, because I'm actually in the same house right now that I grew up in. Once my father passed away, my mom moved out and I took over the house. So all these memories just started coming back. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, Earl the squirrel and Blue and the grand oak. Interesting. So I got an idea for a children's book called Earl the Short-Tailed Squirrel. As I wrote it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold the grand oak for the second book. I was already thinking about the second book. And all these ideas were just being downloaded. And I had a turtle named Houdini when I was growing up. I put Houdini in the book. I just had all these ideas and all these characters of a life lesson that I wanted to put together, that I wanted Earl to go through. And because of all that, now I decided to move forward with it. I decided to take action with it. And I started researching how to write a children's book and what I need to do, and all the necessary things that I need to go through. And it wasn't hard. That's the important thing too. This is something that I just felt drawn to, and it didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like it was a chore. It didn't feel like it was taking time away from anything else. Like, I wanted to do it. I couldn't feed myself enough information because I felt so inspired to do this. Come to find out, I did it. I got it all done. And I ended up writing Earl the Short-Tailed Squirrel. And I have the second one coming out this summer, Earl the Short-Tailed Squirrel and the Grand Oak. And it's all because I took inspired action. Like, these ideas were just being downloaded and I just felt so drawn to it. I could have done absolutely nothing with it. I could have said to myself, that'll be a cool idea. Maybe I'll do that one day. That's pretty cool. Yeah, good stuff, Jay. But no, I acted on it and I created a children's book out of absolutely nowhere, something I never honestly thought I would do. Like, I had little thoughts about writing a book, but I was never serious about it until the right information came at the right time. And it felt so perfect that I just had to act on it. Guys, do not hold back when you feel drawn to do something. Do not hold back when a synchronicity of being in front of the right person, or an opportunity that just passes in front of you and you say, maybe one day. Don't do it. Because by taking action, it can completely change your entire life. And it'll change you, because now your brain is starting to learn that you are not going to allow these thoughts of fear and what could go wrong and all this to stop you from actually acting and doing things. You will start becoming a different person. You'll start becoming the person you need to be to accomplish those goals that are going to help you toward your dream life. So guys, take inspired action, have faith. God's perfect timing is absolutely perfect, and have faith that He is going to have your back. Don't hesitate. Take inspired action.